Hi, my name is Tara. I'm here on YouTube right now to briefly talk about my journey with Bell's palsy, which is only about 9 days old at this point, 9 days ago that I was diagnosed. So I'm going to share real quick what is Bell's palsy, um, how I ended up getting Bell's palsy, and how I am managing my Bell's palsy currently. So real quick, I have a feeling that if you found my YouTube video, you probably have an interest for whatever reason in Bell's palsy. Very likely, like me, you went onto YouTube for resources and support from other people who are suffering or have suffered from Bell's palsy. So I probably don't need to tell you what it is. And in all reality, I don't really know a lot about what it is either. I haven't focused too much on the why of Bell's palsy and more just trying to get through my day-to-day life. That's really taking up a lot of my time and energy right now. So if I get this wrong and you know more about it than I do, which is very possible, I apologize. But from my understanding, Bell's palsy is a condition that causes one side of your face, usually one side of your face, to become paralyzed. So as you can see here, for me, it's my right side of my face. When I smile, only the left side of my face moves. My eye will not blink. So actually, in the past couple days, I feel like there has been some blinking going on because my eye feels less dry than it did initially. But I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. And then just like the other muscles, like my nose, my nostrils kind of saggy, and my eyebrow is saggy. So I probably have, I'm guessing, a more severe case of Bell's palsy, not as severe as it could be. But there's definitely people that have, more mild forms of it than I currently do. But basically, Bell's palsy, you have a nerve that I believe originates behind your ear, which is why a lot of people who end up getting diagnosed with Bell's palsy, it starts with like a radiating pain in their ear or behind their ear. But this, I believe it's called the seventh cranial nerve, is located behind your ear. And it's a bundle of nerves, almost like a telephone wire, is the way that I kind of saw about it online, that has a sheath around it, and then lots of little nerve fibers inside. And all those nerve fibers are also protected by kind of like a sheath. So what happens is usually people have some kind of a viral infection. I believe that's usually how they're caused. For me, I was diagnosed with Lyme's disease and babesiosis, which is another tick-borne illness that caused me to get really, really sick with like kind of flu-like symptoms, and then a very severe headache, which unfortunately for me, I didn't go to get treated initially. And had I probably would never have gotten the Bell's palsy, but I didn't because I didn't even know that I had been bitten by a tick. So my symptoms progressed to the point that I ended up going to the emergency room because of the Bell's palsy. That was obviously what was alarming to me and clearly showed that this wasn't just a normal, viral infection that I had to work out of my system. So anyway, so what happens is that you end up with compression. This seventh cranial nerve becomes inflamed and compressed, and then it compresses the nerve fibers inside of that sheath. And once that happens, you start to show signs of facial paralysis. I think a lot of people, obviously at this point, become very alarmed like I did and go seek medical attention for their condition and hopefully get treatment to start to alleviate the compression and start the process of healing. I can imagine some people, for many different reasons, don't get it, don't seek medical attention initially. And obviously that's only going to exacerbate the damage to your nerve, and probably, I would imagine, make the recovery time even longer. Because the way that I understand it is that Bell's palsy can take anywhere from a month to, I want to say, up to a year to fully resolve. And unfortunately, some people, maybe because of the length of time that they have it for, never fully resolve from Bell's palsy and always have, residual issues with muscle tone or things like that make it so that the Bell's palsy has lasting effects. So I'm hopeful that, obviously, I'm sure anyone who has Bell's palsy is hopeful that they are going to be one of the ones that recovers quickly. And I will say in the past couple of days, like I said, with the eye blinking, and maybe a little bit more control in my mouth, like minimal control, but something that I'm noticing. Hopefully it's a good indicator that, my body's going to recover from this. So but only time will tell, obviously. And I'm trying not to stress out about that. I did watch one of the videos online that really talked about how, he really, as much as it's hard to, try not to freak out and try not to say, oh my God, this is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. Like, how am I going to, do things? How, just that kind of downward spiral of thought process. It only adds to stress. And personally for me, and I can't say this for certain, I probably definitely would have had Lyme's disease no matter what. It was probably, obviously, I've been by a tick that had Lyme's and Babesioso. My body was going to have, something was going to happen from that. But I was also going through a lot of stress, pretty significant personal stress around the time that I started to show symptoms of Lyme's disease. And I personally think that stress, though it did not cause my Bell's palsy, I definitely think that it made me very vulnerable to have this condition. Stress causes inflammation in your body. It has other side effects as far as your immune system. So anyway, my goal right now is to really try and not stress myself out too much. So that is basically my story. That is how I got Bell's palsy. I'm going to try to go to acupuncture, I'm going to acupuncture on Tuesday, so 2 more days. I've heard a lot of people, including Angelina Jolie, who I guess, little did I know, is also in the Bell's palsy club. She had Bell's palsy a few years ago and really felt that acupuncture helps speed along her recovery. So my plan after I have this acupuncture treatment is to kind of just share my story with it and see if, I'm not expecting a miracle, but to see if anything has improved. So anyway, so that is my Bell's palsy journey. I'm going to do another video soon, kind of showing how I tape my eye closed at night. Obviously, when you have Bell's palsy and you can't close your eye, your biggest concern has to be protecting your cornea. One, because if you can't blink, which is something we all just so take for granted, it's just blinking, my eye gets really dry. So I found, I've tried out some different eye drops, some more, kind of thicker and gel-like than others that are helpful to making sure I manage that aspect of it. I'm trying not to touch my eye too much because the last thing I want to do is like get an infection in my eye. So I'm trying not to touch my eye too much. And I'm also wearing, if you notice, I'm sure you have, these very cool motorcycle goggles that I have on here. They're Oakley, I don't know the name brand, but they're Oakley and they're clear. And I also wear glasses, and right now I can't hold a contact lens in my right eye probably because I can't blink. So I have a contact lens in my left eye, which is allowing me to see. Thankfully, I can still see pretty well, even though I don't have that right eye contact lens. And so the goggles, I bought them so that if I am wearing my glasses, supposedly my glasses will fit under these goggles. But if I'm not wearing them, they give me protection for my eyes. So this way I feel a lot better that, just going about my day-to-day life, that I'm not going to have something fly into my eye and my eye can't blink and then it scratches my cornea. Even too, just like outside, just like the air from outside, not even a wind, just like a little light breeze, causes my eye to super dry out. So the goggles are helpful too with that. So it just makes me feel better wearing them to know that I'm protecting my cornea. So anyway, so the last other thing that I have right now, I'd read that, initially I was learning about facial exercises to do to try and make sure your muscles, don't atrophy and everything. I've heard conflicting information about exercising the muscles in your face. I personally, right now, I'm just trying to kind of follow what feels right to me, and exercising the muscles just doesn't feel right to me. Relaxing my face, trying to make sure that I am thinking of my face as a whole thing versus left side, right side. I just think from like a neurological perspective and your brain making those, realigning those synapses to make sure that you are, using the paralyzed side of your face. So I'm really just trying to think about my face as a whole thing. I really focus on that. And then I'm also doing some facial massage a couple times a day. I found these online. They're specifically for people with Bell's palsy. When I massage my face, I'm massaging both sides at the same time, again, with that neurological component. And then I also read that castor oil can be helpful in helping you with Bell's palsy. So anyway, who knows? Can't hurt, and I guess it makes me feel like I'm doing something proactive. So anyway, that is my story. I hope you find it helpful. I hope you find it to be, what's the word for it? Make you feel less alone if you're also going through this. I mean, it's hard. It definitely is. But Bell's palsy is temporary. And if you're going through this like me, you will get through this and you will look back and you will laugh with both sides of your mouth, hopefully. And yeah, so just, take it easy and know that you're not alone. A lot of people, believe it or not, suffer from Bell's palsy. It's a club you don't want to belong to, but when you do, you realize that there's a lot of other people who have this condition as well. So anyway, I hope you found this video to be useful, and I look forward to posting my next one. Thanks so much.